Before we begin, I want to share something that shocked me. 1 in 5 adults in the United States struggles to read at a basic level, and more than half adults read below a 6th grade level. That doesn't start in adulthood, it starts in our classrooms, when reading feels frustrating instead of meaningful. And I once had a student who felt exactly that way. Every time I pulled out a book, you could just see the stress in his face. Reading was something to escape from, not something to enjoy. But everything changed when we tried a different approach. One built on confidence first, not difficulty. And today, I want to show you the steps that helped him go from avoiding books to actually asking to read more. If this story resonates with you, stick around to the end. I'm going to give you some tips on how to help your student. So the student that I am referring to, we'll call him Miguel to protect his privacy. Miguel would completely shut down when it was his time to read. Eyes were down, shoulders were tight, even in a private setting. Not because he couldn't think, but because the words on the page just felt like a wall. This video is about how that wall came down step by step and how he actually started asking to read more. I noticed the struggle mainly in our small groups. I would gather 5 to 7 students around my table, and Miguel could sound out words, but every word took so much effort that he lost the meaning of the sentence. He wasn't experiencing stories, he was surviving them. And when reading feels like survival, you avoid it. So I knew I had to make a shift. So I stopped pushing harder text. I stopped pushing leveled readers. I shifted to building decoding strength, boosting confidence, and making reading visual and interactive instead of intimidating. And that's where everything changed. So the method I use, and during our small groups, we always started with a 5-minute phonics warm-up. Before reading, we practiced blending, breaking apart words, and recognizing vowel patterns. Just 5 minutes, little tiny reps, a little bit of gains. So as you know, a lot of students like artistic work or ways that they can be creative. So we would call it read and sketch. While he read, I drew simple stick figure scenes besides him. Then we switched. He would draw when I read. This made the stories visual, not just verbal. It removed pressures and added play to it. Now, the third method that I use is mental images. Before reading a paragraph, I'd say, close your eyes. What do you see happening here? He learned that understanding the story helps him decode the words, not the other way around. Students Miguel's age often struggle with creating mental images, so just by starting drawing, that helped him understand the story a little bit more and to kind of get that brain moving to make those mental images in his head. A lot of teachers will enforce their students to read level books so that they're staying on grade level or increasing. We chose books we wanted to care about. Not grade level books, not leveled readers. We chose books that matched his interests. He liked detectives and animals. When students care, reading becomes purpose, not punishment. Last, we celebrated progress, not perfection. When he decoded a tough word, we noticed it. When he finished a chapter, we cheered for him. When he made a prediction, we shared it. Confidence grows in small moments. So after all of that, I was able to witness the transformation. One day, he walked up to me holding a book and said, "Can we read this next?" He didn't say, "Do we have to? How long?" But "Can we?" That was the moment I realized reading wasn't something he feared anymore. It became something he could do. If you have a student like Miguel, don't give up. Start small, make reading visual, let them build confidence before complexity. And please give this video a like and subscribe and tell me in the comments, what's one reading challenge you want help with next? Also, what other challenges did you have in the classroom that you overcome?